Welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from No Diet Babe. I'm a spiritual mindset coach and weight loss expert. If you are a spiritual babe wanting to up-level your life around your body, health, wellness, spirituality, law of attraction and manifestation, then this is the podcast for you. I'm here to give you the tools, teachings, and strategies to manifest the body and life of your dreams. As spiritual babes, we know to focus on love as opposed to fear. So get ready to learn how to implement spiritual teachings to weight loss, wellness, and your daily life, coming from a place of love and abundance. This is a celebration of how we can shift our inner perception of ourselves and watch our outer selves shift. You can become the best version of yourself, and I'm here to help. So let's get started. Hey babe, welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from NoDietBabe.com, and welcome to today's episode. So for today's episode, I want to paint a picture for you. Imagine you're going to work or you're meeting up with a friend, and you know, this person, you notice that they're losing weight. You're like, hey babe, like you've lost weight, like you're looking great. And you're like kind of jealous. You're like, oh my God, she's looking really good. Like she's glowing. She's lost weight. Wow. Like, and you're like, so like, what did you do? How did you do it? And then she's telling you all about this new diet plan she's following. She's like, oh my God, you have to try it. Like, it is so freaking good. And I just do this and I do this and I do this. And like, it's amazing. Like you have got to sign up. Like go sign up, woman. Like, what are you doing? And you get so caught up in this euphoria. You're like, yeah. Like, oh my God, I want to try it. Like it sounds like, look at the results. Like it sounds so good. Like, I need to try it. Like I've struggled so long. Like this sounds new and exciting. Like let me go and try this. This sounds like a great option. And I used to do this all the time. And I remember it exactly, like the range of emotions that I would go through. And I'd be like so excited. I would spend ages just like planning it out and just feel this extreme euphoria of planning and excitement of like, yes, I'm going to get this. Like I'm going to show everyone that I did it, and how good is it going to be when I get to rock up and everyone gets to see how skinny I am and how good I look, and like, oh my God, I can't wait to feel that way. And you get caught up in all of these emotions, and you just look at this diet or whatever this plan that this person has been following as God. Like, oh my God, like this is what I'm going to do. And then you go ahead and you start researching it, and you're like, okay, so these are all the foods that I have to cut out. I've got to buy these XYZ supplements. I've got to plan out that I've got to go to the gym on these days. That means I'm going to have to get rid of everything in my cupboards. Shit. Okay. I'm going to get rid of everything in my cupboards. Maybe I'll like eat some of it today, before I start tomorrow. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to be this new person. Tomorrow, when I wake up, I'll be this new person. But for today, I'm going to eat whatever's in the cupboards. Like I'll start tomorrow. And today, like you're just getting all this euphoria. Like you're envisioning it already. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose as much weight as she has. Like it's basically like flaunting it, dangling it in front of your face like a carrot. Like, oh my God, like I just want this. Like, yes, I want exactly what she has. Mind you, like people see that and then they get sucked in. And then it's like, okay, people are really good at marketing. They're like quick weight loss. The problem is that the most alluring diets usually have the best before and after photos, because they're really good at marketing it they're really good at making people lose weight quickly so then they can have these extreme before and after photos to lure people in. So then people get caught up in it, because whenever somebody's like, oh, I lost weight, a lot of people, the next question they ask is, how long did it take you to lose it, right? And psychologically, like, they're doing this because they really want to escape. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, is the nature of wanting to escape your emotions and why we get a weight issue in the first place. So really what I want you to do is I want you to listen to this episode if you tend to be lured in, if you are one of those people who does fall for that marketing of extreme weight loss. I lost it so quickly, or let me just do this cleanse and then in 7 days I'll lose the tummy bloat. Like, I've got an event on this weekend, so I'm going to cut everything out and I'm just going to do this detox so that I lose that little tummy bump, and then I just don't feel as heavy and I feel better and more comfortable in my body for this weekend. I know all the tips and tricks. Trust me, I spent 10 years doing this. I was one of those people that did this, okay? So I know what goes on in your head. I've been there, woman. Like, I get it. So then what happens is, like, these people go on these diets, but then, like, what used to happen to me, like, even one time when I went on a 1,200 calorie diet, I was so much euphoria. Like, oh my God, like, I'm losing weight and it's working and it's fantastic. 6 months later, or even like 9 months later, I can't remember what it was that time because it happened so many times where I gained the weight back. Yeah, like, I gained it back and I felt like a worthless piece of shit. I felt lazy. I felt like I lacked discipline. I felt out of control. I was bogged down with shame and guilt. And then just ask yourself, before you are tempted by the strict diet, before you are tempted by the cleanse, how many times have you gone through this before? How many times have you felt the euphoria of planning out your diet only to be let down, whether it's the next day, the next week, several months? You are back at square one or worse off. How many times, and be honest here, really, I'm trying to get you to become conscious of something that your brain has put into the unconscious. Because your brain, if you're here, if you're a chronic dieter, if you're struggling to lose weight, you are predominantly avoiding emotions. I'm telling you now, that is how we developed weight issues. So, the whole euphoria that you experience when you are planning how you're going to lose weight that's a coping mechanism, okay? So somewhere along the line, you developed trauma, okay? It's like really complicated to explain over this podcast episode, but basically you've had trauma throughout your childhood. You've had, I'll call it like emotional neglect, meaning you've had parents who didn't know how to regulate their own emotions, or like didn't know how to help you regulate yours, or were unavailable, like they were too busy, they were working, whatever. Pretty much all of us, right, at some point had emotional neglect in some sort of way. Your parents might have been like anxious and stressed themselves and they couldn't help you regulate your own nervous system, okay? So there's all of these things, and pretty much society has trained us, and unfortunately, when people take self-development the wrong way, which heaps of people do, they say, oh, just be positive. Don't think negatively. Just feel positive. Oh, you feel bad? Oh, don't feel bad. You're literally fed these messages from a young age. You're crying. Oh, don't cry. Or don't feel bad. You are taught from a young age to avoid your emotions and to judge, shame, and fear your emotions. Okay? So that is where it all begins. Okay? That's literally where it all begins. So then because we've been taught to avoid, we start to build up a repression of emotions, okay? And your brain is incredibly smart. It will find ways, and especially when you're young, a child or a teenager, when you're not an adult, you will find coping mechanisms that for the bigger picture, like a healthy functional adult will look at and realize when you're a conscious person and you're very conscious around food and weight, you'll realize that it's not helpful at all. Okay, so once you become conscious of your emotional patterns, your childhood and trauma, and how ways you've learned to cope with unhealed trauma, right? You'll realize that the brain has created a weight issue because it gives you comfort. You're asking me, how does a weight issue give me comfort? Well, think back to the euphoria I was just talking about. The euphoria you experience in when you're trying to fix the problem, okay? You are reinforcing the need to have a problem because you're reinforcing the coping mechanism. So I hope you're following along, right? So basically, I'll just explain that again. So your brain creates a weight issue, right? Because now you've got something to focus on. You've got something that you need to control that distracts you from your emotions. Because now you get to control and fix the weight loss. And how do you feel when you fantasize about fixing the weight loss? When you fantasize about what's going to happen when you lose the weight? When you fantasize about the cleanse and how you're going to lose weight quickly, you're going to feel better, you're going to go on this strict diet, you're going to lose weight, you're going to feel better, you're going to feel more confident. You feel good when you do that, and that reinforces the cycle of needing a weight issue in order to give you this euphoria, okay? It's a coping mechanism. Our brain develops a weight issue as a coping mechanism. Other thing that happens too, it can happen during childhood or teenage years, you realize that food gives you dopamine. It gives you dopamine, especially foods with sugar in it, scientifically give you that dopamine hit. And coupled with the dieting mentality makes food very alluring, okay? So that rebel within you gets so allured to this food that it does start to feel drug-like. And you're just like so lured into this food that also becomes a coping mechanism. So the whole food and weight stuff, and whether it's you could be constantly obsessing over food, you could be obsessing over exercise, like when am I going to exercise, like obsessively deciding like, should I eat this, shouldn't I eat this, like what is this person gonna think if I eat this, like the guilt and shame after I eat this, like how many weeks is it going to take for me to lose the weight. All of this is a distraction from your emotions and your actual other issues in life and your childhood trauma that is unhealed, okay? So then it's like you get lured into this temptation of I'm going to lose weight, but you're not seeing the bigger picture here. You're not actually seeing the cycle that your brain is putting you through. And pretty much it will happen it's a chaos, it's a feast and famine. It's up and down, it's that trend of being so chaotic, okay? That usually means your emotions are that chaotic as well. And your whole life is that chaotic, okay? But having it just be based on weight makes it easier to digest, makes it more normal, makes it seem more socially acceptable rather than I've got all these trauma issues, right? So your brain's just created the weight issue as a coping mechanism essentially, because now you've got something else to focus on. If you didn't have the weight issue, you'd have to deal with your problems, right? And then you'd feel like shit because you're like, oh, the healing fantasy that actually brings me comfort is knowing that when I lose weight, I'll be happy. When I lose weight, I'll finally be confident. When I lose weight, he will love me, she will love me, I will find the love of my life. That is a healing fantasy. And a healing fantasy for the immature brain is a coping mechanism, right? Kids do healing fantasy stuff all the time. Like if they didn't have a father growing up, they might fantasize about who their father could be and then imagine that the person on TV could be their father. Or all of these things are a healing fantasy. And you're currently doing a healing fantasy when you do that. When you go, oh, when I lose weight, everything will work out. Like, finally, he'll choose me. He'll love me again. He'll want to have sex with me. Or I'll find the love of my life. I'll get to go on dates much easier. I'll just be more accepted by people. Everyone will like me better. I'll get the job. I'll make more money. All of this is just a healing fantasy. And it's a sign that you have to heal from your trauma. You have to work on developing into a healthy, functional adult psyche, okay? Because a lot of people, including myself in a lot of ways still, are immature in an adult body, okay? There's no shame around that. That's why we're here. We're here to do the work together, okay? And so that's the thing is, instead of how quickly can I lose weight? What diet should I pick? Let me get lured in. Ask yourself, okay, why do I keep running from myself? Because at the end of the day, you can lose the weight physically, and yes, you will feel euphoria in the beginning. I get that. And I get that you are really caught up in that euphoria that you feel. But when that euphoria dies down, you are still within your body. Your body is home. You can't run away from it. You are in this body until you die. And unless you learn to feel good in it, regardless of what weight you're in, what weight you are at, you won't feel good. What you're seeking is not about weight loss. It's about healing from within. It's about your conditioning. It's about your patterns that you've learned from childhood. And throughout, like being reinforced throughout life, because society is really good at reinforcing all that stuff around weight and body image. So that doesn't mean, I'm not saying that you can't lose weight. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you, okay? But I'm here because I want you to, instead of zoom in, I'm doing the action with like as if I was on the phone right now, like when you zoom in the screen, like picture that you're tapping your fingers on the screen and you're zooming in. You zoom in. How can I lose weight now? How can I feel better now? I just want to feel better right now. And I want you to zoom out on your whole life for the last 10 years. And think about how many times you have done this. How many times have you had so many hopes and dreams and euphoria about losing weight? And how many different times have you set the intention to try to lose weight and it's not worked out, or it has worked out but then you've gained it back? How many times have you done this cycle? Okay? There's no shame. This isn't about shame. This is about curiosity. And this is about healing the cycle that's there for a reason. Nothing happens by accident. Everything is valid. Everything you do is valid. All of the behaviors. Every single time you go, I self-sabotage, I must be lazy, I just don't have enough discipline. No, everything you do is valid. Anyone else who's had the identical upbringing that you've had in the conditioning would have to do the same things you do. It's a science. It's all valid, right? So stop shaming. It isn't about that. It's no such thing as laziness. It's all about your programming. We have to change the subconscious in order to change your reality. So look at your reality by zooming out, not by zooming in. Not by comparing yourself to the person that just lost weight. Cool, that person just lost weight, but where are they going to be in 6 months and a year? Because majority of the time, these people are yo-yoing as well, okay? So just for a moment, zoom out, focus on you, no one else. Zoom out. How many times have you been in this situation? How many times have you planned or decided to buy some new supplement for weight loss, decided to sign up for some detox diet, decided to buy some book on like keto or something, like tried to sign up, let me find out more about like this slimming diet, whatever. Let me sign up for this cleanse. Let me sign up in this group that's going to keep us all accountable together. Let me sign up to this new gym. Let me hire a personal trainer that will push me. Okay? Look at the cycle and then think, did I have a healing fantasy when I did that? Did I go through this like euphoria of how my life is going to become magical once I do all this? Cool. That's a coping mechanism. What is the deep-seated beliefs that I'm trying to avoid then? That I'm unworthy, that I'm not deserving, that there's something wrong with me, that I'm unlovable? There we go. Now we've hit your childhood trauma. And guess what? That's where we actually find peace. And when we heal our relationship to food, and then suddenly weight loss becomes easy. Okay? Obviously, there's more to it than that. Like, there's steps along the way, which I teach in my courses, like especially Emerge is such a fantastic course to help you out of this cycle. So I really recommend that, and the Academy as well. But currently I have Emerge open, which is now self-paced. And the other thing is that you can do one-on-one coaching with me. Okay, so you get my support through Voxer, through weekly sessions. It's freaking amazing. Okay, and the other option is something that I recommend that you use to support your healing journey is subliminal audios. I use subliminal audios and they are freaking amazing. I use them every single day, and I use them first thing in the morning when I wake up, because the science behind this is first thing when you wake up, if you check your phone straight away and you start scrolling on Instagram or whatever, you're forcing your brain to wake up essentially. But if you listen to subliminals and you kind of chill a little bit with your subliminal audios in your ear, you're in a theta brainwave state. And that's where your subconscious is like really malleable. Like it's really able to be reprogrammed easier. Like this is like stuff that you can learn like through Joe Dispenza, and heaps of people are talking about it nowadays. But that's the best time. So first thing in the morning, I don't go on social media. I don't check anything else on my phone. I pop my headphones in and I'll put on a subliminal audio. So I'll tune in to how I'm feeling first thing, and I'll be like, how do I feel? Like what specific thing would I like to focus on today? I'll pop it in my ears and I'll listen. And I tell you now, like it's made such a difference. I even listen as I'm falling asleep, and it's so weird. Like as soon as I've fallen asleep, I can actually hear the subliminals like as if they're inside my head. Like it's a really weird feeling, but I don't remember what they're saying because I'm asleep. So it's like really funny, like such a weird thing. But yeah, they're definitely, you can't hear the words they're saying. You can't hear the words because there's music, and it's not like you're not meant to hear them, because it's the whole point of subliminal audios is that it bypasses your subconscious mind. So because like if I'm even when you listen to me on this podcast, or like when you first come across me and you're like, you might get triggered by stuff that I say. You might be like, I talk about calories, or I talk about weight loss is easy, and you get triggered. Like it's like, oh my God, I can't believe she's talking about weight loss being easy. Like it's so freaking annoying. It's hard for me. Like all of that stuff, that's your conscious mind rejecting an affirmation. So when I say weight loss is easy, there's a lot of like stuff there that your conscious mind is rejecting. And then it's really hard to reprogram your subconscious mind like that. So that's why subliminal messages are great, because they bypass your conscious mind and straight to the subconscious. And then suddenly you'll feel different. I notice that I start to feel differently. It's not a magic solution. It just makes the process of reprogramming easier. So then when I do want to do like some reparenting work, talking back to my inner critic, it's easier. There's less resistance because I've had all this reprogramming in my ear during the night, and in the morning it just feels so different. I feel so much more supported. I feel like I can do the work much faster. So I highly recommend subliminal audios. Now, I've been looking at subliminal audios now for months, like at least 6 months. I've been looking at all the ones that are out there. I literally could not find one on weight loss that I found suitable. So I looked at all the weight loss ones, I looked at all the affirmations they have, and I was like, none of these affirmations actually did enough. It's like you're trying to heal your relationship to money and you just listen to an affirmation saying like, money is an infinite resource, or like abundance is everywhere, and you listen to it, but like nothing changes. Because why? Because there's so much more that your relationship to money or your relationship to food or everything else is far more complex than one affirmation. Sure, one affirmation might tweak one thing in your head, but there's probably like 1,000 different loops going on in your head of why you feel like weight loss is hard or whatever. Okay. So that's why I like affirmations that are not so generalized. I like when they're very specific to a certain thing. So that's why I was like, there's literally nothing, like nobody has created these for weight loss the way that I have now. And they're just all so generalized. I was like, literally, like they can't be this general. Like they need to be more specific. So I went ahead and I created 13 of them. So I've got like clearing the guilt and shame that stops you from being at your ideal weight, forgiveness and letting go of resentment around your weight and past dieting experiences, clearing scarcity and deprivation around food, stop self-sabotage around your goal weight, overcoming weight loss procrastination, clearing your dependency to food, clearing your codependency to others around food. So that's like if you have an issue eating in front of other people. Then there's I am naturally slim. You can trust yourself to lose weight, heal your body image. It is safe for me to lose weight. It is safe for me to be seen. Like that's all like helping, feel safe to lose the weight, because that's a huge issue with people. Stabilizing and maintaining your weight loss. Another reason why we resist wanting to lose weight, or we fear things once we have lost the weight, is the fear of gaining it back. So all of these audios are very specific and have very specific affirmations that you won't find anywhere else that help you reprogram all of the things that I had to work on in order to get to where I am, like permanent weight loss. That's what we want, not just generalized stuff, because a lot of the generalized hypnosis and subliminals out there for weight loss, unfortunately, they're just too generalized. They're not specific enough at all the different aspects. So this is a great little starter for you, right? Where you can tune in, feel into what issue you need to work on. And kind of what I do with subliminals is like I spread them out, like I said, morning and night, but sometimes throughout the day, and I just vary with different ones. So I vary them. So you could, like with the ones that I'm selling, like you could, like choose different ones and like go for a few days and then try the other ones for a few days. Like I just tune in into what I feel like I'm needing in that moment. And the cool thing with the subliminals that I've created, you've got each of those subliminals has 3 different options. So you have a regular subliminal with music. Then you have one without music, a silent affirmations. So what's so cool about this is if you want to listen to them without music because the music annoys you, you get silent subliminal audios, right? So there won't be any music. It's just silence. So how cool is that? You could actually fall asleep with them on then. Or if you have trouble like working while you're listening to music, if you just want silence, pop them in all day long. Silent affirmations. Freaking amazing. And then there's another option with like binaural beats, which is just like brainwave technology. I only recommend that for a maximum of 1 hour per day, the brainwaves one. When I use them too much, like they can just feel overwhelming for my brain. Like you might get a headache or something, like if you use them too often. Because it's binaural beats. I've given 3 options with each subliminal audio. So I've been very, very generous. And check it out, nodietbabe.com/subliminals. They will be sold separately, but as a special package deal, because I've just released them, I'm selling them all at a really discounted price. So best thing you can do if you want to reprogram your subconscious mind is to get on it while I have the deal now, because you'll save money by buying them all at once rather than having to do it all individually. Just get it all in one go. Like that's the best thing. So nodietbabe.com/subliminals, and the link will be everywhere. It's in my Instagram bio. It's in the show notes. So go check it out. Like I'm freaking obsessed. Like I will go on and on and on and on and on about subliminals because they are the freaking bomb.com. Like they're the best invention ever. I've found them to drastically cut down the amount of time I have to spend listening to content, the amount of time I have to spend journaling. Like it's just such a relief to not have to constantly feel like I'm on top of everything. It just feels so freaking good to not have that pressure of like, oh my God, like I have to listen to content every single day. Like I can just pop the music in my ears and I know that I'm reprogramming. So I highly recommend. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode and I will see you in the next episode. Love you guys. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you loved this episode, I'd love for you to leave me an iTunes review. Don't forget to follow this podcast for more uplifting teachings to come. For more tips, inspiration, and teachings, come follow me on Instagram at nodietbabe or check out my website, nodietbabe.com. Until I see you next time, babes, lots of love.